Hey, it's Melissa from Melissa's Creations here, and this is Stamping Saturday, Session 1. It's just almost 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and I am just about ready to get started showing you guys the first two cards of the day. The first card we're going to make on Stamping Saturday, the 10 a.m. session, is this Swirly Bird card. I love it. It reminds me of fall, and that's why I wanted to make it. It has several gorgeous colors in here. There's those fall colors, the rusty oranges and reds and yellows and greens. There's still a little bit of green peeking through, so I loved that. We are also using the stamp set One Big Meaning to stamp our sentiment down here. So this is the first card we're going to do. The second card we're going to do today in Session 1 is another card featuring the Swirly Bird stamp set. This is with the fun sailboat, and we also have the sailboat stamped inside down in this corner just to give the inside a little love too. I really like this card. We're going to use the Swirly Scribbles thinlets dies to cut the waves out and blender pen to kind of color in down here. It's going to be super fun. Let's get started. This is our card. It's a little thanks. It opens this way. It's just plain on the inside, but you could definitely jazz that up with some stamps of some sort. So we're going to do the front. And I have all of my pieces ready to go and pre-cut here. So I have a piece of, I started with 8.5 by 11 Whisper White cardstock. I trimmed it on the long edge at 4 1/4 and I scored it at 5.5. So there is our card base all ready to go. I pre-cut these swirls out of some crumb cake cardstock, and as you can see, these two are super shimmery. I used Wink of Stella on those, and I will demonstrate that on this blank one here. I have a few more pieces of cardstock cut and ready to go. I have an extra piece in here because I was going to cut the swirls out, but since I already did that for you guys, I'm just going to set that aside. This will layer onto the front of our card base like so, and this piece is crumb cake again, and it measures 5 1/4 by 2.5. We have a piece of Whisper White to layer on top of that crumb cake. It is the same length at 5 1/4, and this measures 2 inches. And we have a little scrap of Whisper White so that we can stamp our sentiment. It is hand cut, so you just need a scrap. This particular piece measures about 4 inches by 3/4 of an inch. And last but not least, I have a gorgeous piece of cherry cobbler baker's twine that we're going to wrap around the pieces on front of our card. So yay, let's get started stamping. I'm bringing in Swirly Bird, and the first thing I want to do is stamp my background, which is this really fun splatter. It's this one here. I love the grunge look. It's super popular, and there are still a few stamp sets in the catalog that feature that fun grunginess. And spoiler alert, something in the holiday catalog is going to be super fun for the seasons. So just keep that in mind. The holiday catalog will come out for customers to view on the 1st of September, but I will be doing a unboxing as soon as my items arrive on Monday, so stay tuned for that. I am inking up that in crumb cake, and I am going to do the stamp off technique. I am going to bring in my Stampin' Pierce mat so that I can get a really crisp image on these photopolymer stamps. Now, this is still the old style. I'm working on getting the new style. It's the old felt top, but the new pads are nice and foamy and juicy and wonderful. So I'm going to stamp off, and then I'm going to come in and stamp all over the side of my card. Now, you don't see the whole thing, so I'm not going to worry about the middle here, but I do want to get the sides, the top and bottom. I've already scored this and used the bone folder to get a, oh, I didn't stamp that one off, to get a nice crease. So just a few all the way around, and we're just going to do the same thing on the 2-inch piece of Whisper White. You know, I didn't stamp off twice, but I kind of like it. It is a little darker, and it'll just add even more interest to the card. So now I'm just going to stamp these in kind of a random, I'm just twisting and turning my stamp set as I go. So cute. I love this. My brain has to really think, okay, ink off paper. There we go. Got it. I think I got it down now. All right, so now the next thing we're going to do is stamp those gorgeous leaves. I love them. Hi, Donna. Thanks for joining us. So I am going to bring in my colors. So we have the crushed curry, the cherry cobbler, Cajun craze, and which one did I use? I used a lighter color. Garden green. So I think these are just, they scream fall. What do you guys think? Do you like these colors together? Now, unfortunately, these two are still the older style, the felt top style. As I said, I'm working on getting all the new ones, so we're working on it. And these are the new spongy tops, which are fantastic. So I am going to bring in the little leaf. So I'm going to put my grunge back. I love this grunge. So much fun. Okay, we'll grab there's two different size leaves in here, a larger and a smaller. I'm going for the large, and I'm going to actually put that on this block. I do have some smaller blocks that I could get out, I suppose. And then there's this little grass type stamp, or you could do so much with it. I mean, there's several uses, but that's what I'm going to use for the inside of our leaf to give it the veins of the leaf, the innards, if you will. So I am going to start with my crushed curry. This is such a gorgeous, rich yellow. I love it. So I'm going to ink that up. I'm going to stamp it off because I do want some lighter image. If you want it full strength, go for it. This is just a super fun card. It's very creative. We're going to just stamp all over and see what happens. Now, before I put that yellow away, the crushed curry, I'm going to take the veins of the leaf in full strength, and I'm just going to stamp right over the top. And because these are photopolymer, you can see right through it. Makes it so easy. Let me zoom you guys in a little so you can see better. Hopefully I don't forget to zoom out. And I do want to stamp it so that the stem goes down away from the leaf so that I have a little bit of a stem down there. So I'm just going to do that on all of these pieces here, just like that. Okay, so now I can clean those stamps off on my Stampin' scrub, and I can do my next color. Now, unfortunately, I did not pre-stamp anything because I did want you guys to see what I was doing. So, if you want to chat amongst yourselves or ask a question or comment so that I can interact with you guys, that would be lovely. I forgot to stamp that one off, so I'm going to stamp this one off, put this here. And it's okay if you forget, you know, it's gorgeous either way. And maybe just to balance it out, I'll do a dark one down there also. Okay, so there is the cherry cobbler. Now I'll go back in with the stems, and one here, and here. And I'm doing that full strength again because I really want it to pop. And even though I stamped that one full strength, you can still see the inside of the leaf. It's not lost. There we go. Oh, stinking cute. Love it. Now, I am using photopolymer, and as you can see, when I used that cherry cobbler, it did kind of stain my my stamp a little bit. You know what? It's okay. It's fine. If you clean it off really well and stamp off a couple times, it just stamps clear. You can't even see it anymore. All right, done with the cherry cobbler for now. I'll bring it back in a moment. I have my garden green. These are all colors from the Regals color family. Super, super fun. Oh, they're gorgeous. Oh, stamp off. See? Aha. Sometimes I forget. And I do kind of want to try to remember to stamp that green off because it is so dark and I want those stems to show through really well. So again, clean off as you go, bring in the inside, and I just think Swirly Bird is such a fun set. How many of you guys have Swirly Bird? How many of you guys don't like it? How many of you guys can't get enough of it? Let me know. I would love to hear about some of the projects you guys are making with this. When I saw it in the catalog, I was like, I have to have it. And then I saw so many people doing amazing things. So I'm like, yep, I'm done in. I'm done for. That's it. Okay, so we'll do here. This is the Cajun Craze. It is such a fun, beautiful rust color. Love it. And just a disclaimer, if my video for some reason freezes up or I black out for a moment, I will be back. Sometimes my internet connection back in my craft room isn't the best, so apologies for that if that happens. But I just refresh your page and I will be back. So Maria says, don't have it, and I love it. It is going to be a must-have. Tammy says, not me. Maria, it really is a must-have. It's not for everyone, and I understand that. It is fun and messy, and it's very different. I'll just say that. It's very different. You're either going to love it or you're not going to like it so much. So that's perfectly fine. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I personally love it. I think it is so much fun. Okay. Yay! We are finally done with that piece. I'm going to bring in my crumb cake and we will adhere this. Now, you can use fast fuse, snail, liquid glue. We have so many adhesives to choose from. I'm just going to go in with my trusty snail and do a couple of strips. That's probably even too much. You probably don't need that much. So I'm going to layer that on the top of my crumb cake piece, trying to make sure I have the same amount of space on each side. I'm going to bring in that lovely, oh, I love it. Love it. Oops, I accidentally tied a knot when I was petting it. That's okay. It's okay. We'll chop it off. So what I'm going to do is start by holding it off to the side of my card. Video keeps buffering in and out. Okay, I'm not sure if I can fix that now. I did reset my router before I started. Hopefully it will calm down, and if not, I'll try to restart the video and see what happens. So I apologize for the connection issues. I wish there was something more I could do about it. So to wrap this around, I'm just going to go at an angle, holding it on the left side. I'm going to go at an angle because I want an X effect. So then when you go around again, go through the middle. See how it meets in the middle like that? And then bring this one down here. So now we have that X and we can tie it right in the middle where that X meets. And let's see if I can do this. I know if you guys have joined me before, you know sometimes I can have some difficulties with tying knots. Now what I'm actually going to do is tuck this tail underneath those other two strings so that I can get a really nice grouping on that X. Okay, so I've twisted the two tails together and then I've tucked it underneath the rest. Now we're just going to tie a simple knot. I'll probably double knot it. Maybe. Actually, you know what? It probably doesn't even need a double knot. So I'm just going to come in with my snips. Now, I do have two different pairs of snips. One's designated specifically for ribbon. So here we go. Might be you, Donna. No issues here. Okay. Well, hopefully, Donna will get that sorted out and it won't be too much of a trouble. I know when I was uploading a YouTube video yesterday, when I played it, it was really grainy and I was so upset. But after a few minutes, it was fine. So I think it was just my connection trying to ramp up for what is a huge video. Okay, so there we go. That piece is done and ready to go. We can put that onto the front of our card. Now, I cut it short on purpose because I am really liking just this really thin accent on the top and bottom. So I'm going to leave it that way. But I am going to pop this up with some dimensionals. So I'll bring that out. Look, it's a fresh package. There's nothing that gives me more joy during my card making than opening a fresh package of dimensionals. Oh, I just love it. Okay, so I'm just going to pick up about 4. Might do 5. We'll see how I feel. Yeah, I'm actually going to put 2. Let's do 2 more. So total is 6 in the middle there. Now I'm just going to peel off these backings like that. And you see how this is kind of a mess on the back? Doesn't matter. No one's going to see it. So we'll just peel these guys off and we will stick this to the front of our card. And then we just have a few things left to do on here. This is a super quick card. So I'm going to put that just off to the left. I'm leaving approximately 1/4 of an inch on the edge there. Okay, and I just like popping it up, gives it a little bit of dimension and texture. Lovely. Okay, now I have my swirls. I'll get this out of the way so we can actually see what we're doing down here. I am going to, and you can see these two just shine. It almost looks like gold. Cut your nails. I know, I need to cut my nails, and actually I cut my thumbnails, but I haven't cut my fingernails yet. So funny. Okay, bringing in some Week of Stella. I'm going to give it just a small shake, and when I open it up, I'm going to test it on a piece of scrap paper to make sure I don't have a big old glob. So now I'm just, all you do is run it over, and you can see how it is just gorgeous. Week of Stella is my favorite product, like ever, because it's instant glam, instant glitz, glittery beautifulness. Okay, see? Awesome. Oh, I love it. Okay, so let me zoom you guys back out so that you can see what we're going to do on here. Bring this card in. I am going to use my fine tip glue pen. How many of you guys have used this? What do you think? Do you love it? Maria, this is actually the clear. Can you believe that? On the crumb cake, it makes it look like gold. It is just stunning. But that's the clear Wink of Stella. So how many of you guys have purchased the fine tip glue pen? How many of you love it? How many of you are not crazy about it? And why? Let me know what you think about this. So I'm just putting a few dots here and there. It's pretty super strong. It does take a little bit to dry, but that's fine. So we're just going to do a few, and we are going to layer that right onto our card. And you do want to hold it down just for a second, just so that it gets a nice adhesion. Is that a word? I'm pretty sure that's a word. Adhesion. Or so that it adheres well. How's that? That sounds more normal, right? My fine tip will be in my next order. Good job, Maria. I really do like it, and we will be using this on our next card as well to do a little bit of dimension in the waves. So I'm super excited about that. It kind of replaces our crystal effects that we used to carry, in that you can do a lot of fun and interesting texture stuff with it. So I am rotating these slightly so that my swirls go in different directions. And I did the top, now I'm going to do the bottom, and then I'm going to do the middle last so that I can kind of center it and make sure that it is in the right place. Okay, so there's 1 and 2. We'll do the third one here, and then we will be ready to do, oh no! It's okay, it's okay. Wipe it off, rub some dirt on it. We're good. All right. So, actually, no, don't rub dirt on it because that would be a hot mess. And I'm really sure that people that get your cards probably don't want them to be caked in filth. So, I'm going to slide that one right in and just set that down for a second so that I can get a good, again, adhesion. That's going to be my new favorite word. Can you guys tell? Okay, so when you are done using your fine tip glue pen, try and get the residual glue off of the tip, as well as immediately insert the needle that's inset in the cap back into your glue tip so that it stays clear of glue and does not clog on you. That is super important with this glue. All right, now we're going to do our sentiment. Here is my scrap piece. Again, it's just about 3/4 of an inch wide. It's not it's about 4 inches long. You don't need a huge piece. We are going to hand cut a banner into each of the sides. So I'm putting my 2 stamp sets away from Swirly Bird. We will bring this back out shortly for our next card. I'm going to use a sentiment from One Big Meaning. I Love this set. So many good thanks sentiments. We're going to use the little one, and it's appropriately called a little thanks. Super cute. These do come in wood mount or the traditional clear mount. And again, most of you already know this, but these stamps are not clear. They are our traditional red rubber. It's called clear mount because it mounts to a clear block. Cherry Cobbler coming back in a second time. We'll ink that up, and it's nice and juicy, so it doesn't take much. And I'm going to stamp it kind of off into the right side, or off of the left, but in from the right. You know what I mean. You can see it. You can see it right there. So, okay. Clean off my stamp so I can put it away so that I will lose these stamps. Like, if I don't put them right back, they will get stuck to something or they'll be underneath something. Hot mess. And panic mode sets in. Okay, now I'm going to bring in my snips that I use for paper. As I said earlier, I do have 2 sets just because that's how I am, a little OCD, but I like it. I am going to trim off the edge like so. I'm going to cut just a straight line in the middle, and then we are going to go from the corner in to get our banner. You could also use a square punch or a banner punch. All those work, but hey, scissors work too, right? So I'm going to turn it and do the same thing. And my sample, the banner is a little bit narrower, more narrow. I really need to check on my grammar because this is just driving me insane. But this is just fine. It doesn't matter how thin or thick it is. Let me zoom you guys back out. There we go. You can see on this one here, it's much larger. And you know what? Actually, I am going to trim it down. But if you do like that thicker look, hey, you know what? Go for it. So we're just going to cut a little bit off. And my banner is all super funky, so make sure that when you do yours, you trim it down on the sides first and then do your banner, because now we're just going to pop that right there. And I did on my sample, I don't know how well you can see it, but I did also stamp the back of that with that grunge stamp. I'm going to leave this one plain white. And I'm going to grab my dimensionals. I'm just going to use a very small strip on the back, peel that sucker off, put that in the middle of my sentiment here, and put it on. Just like so. Super cute. And there is our first card done. Where's Cindy when you need... I know! Cindy needs to be here. I'm sure she has a lot of pressing things to do rather than watch my amazing videos. But there we go. That is our first card with the... I call it a little swirly. A little swirly thanks, something like that. So super fun, reminiscent of fall, easy card that you could send out for maybe Thanksgiving, something similar to that. It's just super fun and a little whimsy. Thanks, Maria. Oh, I'm so excited you like that one. Okay, setting that aside, we will get on to our sailboat. Now, this is also using Swirly Bird and some of the images to create our sailboat. Now, I don't know how well you can see it. Let me actually zoom in so the light might help. Can you see all of that shiny on the waves? Not just on the darkest blue part, but on the inside as well. This piece here. You can see it has a shimmer in there, and I just took the fine tip glue pen and I just kind of squirted some in there. Now, when you do that technique, make sure you allow time for your card to dry. It needs to dry probably overnight if you're thinking about mailing it or giving it to somebody delivering by hand. So zoom you guys out again. And give me just a moment so I can put some of these stamp sets away and we will get started. I need Dapper Denim and beautiful Calypso Coral. Now, the paper that I used on the bottom for the waves, this is from By the Shore. I want to say that's the name of this designer series paper. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the designer series paper is called By the Shore. And I am using a piece from my paper share. This is the piece right here. I cut my pieces down to 6 by 6. Look at those adorable fish on this side, you guys. So cute. So some of the colors we've got, of course, Dapper Denim and the Calypso Coral on a vanilla background. Pool Party. I'm pretty sure that color is Pool Party. I get that one and Mint Macaron mixed up sometimes, but I'm almost 100% positive that's Pool Party. So we'll see how it goes if I'm wrong. Okay. Now I will get my pieces together here. Let's figure out what we want to start with. I'll tell you the measurements for this card now. Zooming out a little bit more. Okay, so again, I'm starting with a 6 by 6 piece of designer series paper from the By the Shore designer series paper, DSP, and that's what I'm going to use to cut out my waves. I will do that on the Big Shot in a moment, and that is using the coordinating Swirly Scribbles thinlets dies that you could purchase in a bundle with Swirly Bird. So we'll get those out in a moment. I do have my standard card base. This is 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. So we're using it on the landscape side today. And I have 2 pieces of Very Vanilla, both the same size, and those measure 5 1/4 by 4, one for the inside and one for the outside. So let's cut our thinlet first so we know where to do the rest of our stamping. For this, I will bring in my Big Shot. You guys can see that in action if you haven't seen it or if you don't own one. It is an amazing investment. I say investment because it is a little bit spendy. It's $110, but if you host a party and get rewards, you can either get it, depending on the sales on your party, you can either get it at half off or you can get it pretty much virtually for nothing. Because with those hostess rewards, you could use that towards anything in the catalog and boom. It is a good deal. All right, so here is that wave thinlet. I'm going to cut out, and I want the darkest part down here, so I'm actually going to cut out the bottom. And I know that's kind of hard for you guys to see. I can't really angle it better, but let's just shove it over this way. Now, I do not yet own, and let me emphasize the yet because it is on my list. I do not yet own the precision base plate or the die brush, which is recommended to use with these thinlets. So I am using a gently used dryer sheet because it does help a little. Rather than cutting directly on those plastic plates, I do think that this helps to get a nice image. It cuts well. So I'm going to, my sandwich is the new platform, the precision die base plate down here, a cutting pad, my lovely lightly used dryer sheet, my paper, my thinlet, and again, another plate right on top. So I'm going to run that through. Cracking is totally normal. And it didn't really even crack that much. So I run it through twice, once to the left and once back out to the right. And when I pick this up, look, it's totally clean. I don't have to pick anything out. Awesome. So it's right here. Now I can bring my paper up and take that away. Okay, so boom. And we are left with our beautiful waves. I'm going to gently peel that away from that dryer sheet. It is pretty sticky, which is good. So there we go. Perfect waves. Gorgeous. Maria says, I only paid $38 with hosting my own party. Just saying, folks. Right? I know, Maria. You got a steal on the Big Shot. That was very well done, sister. Okay. Let me just quickly put this away. Put it back down in its little cubby hole. I need to try and figure out a better way to organize my scrap room. I am working on trying to figure out the best flow, the feng shui. I don't know. Okay. So, our sample for reference, I'm going to start by gluing this down. Bringing in that fine tip glue pen again. Unscrew. Uh-oh. Well, I don't want to unscrew the whole thing. I just want to take the top off. That's interesting. Didn't know that could happen. Okay. Learn something new about your products every day. So here we go. I'm just going to put some of this glue along each of the waves. I'm not going to really focus too much on the outside because I will be chopping some of those end pieces off once I get this on my card. And I don't mind if this goes to the front and it is a little bit sloppy because I'm going to be putting it on the front of my card anyway. So it's really not going to make a difference. Okay, so I think I have a good amount on there. It is super clear, so I can barely see it. Now, it doesn't matter which way the waves go, whichever is your personal preference. I like it to kind of angle so that my sailboat looks like it's really having a good time on that sea. Okay, so there we go. I'm just going to let that sit for just a second. I'm not going to put this away yet because we will use it, but I am going to grab Constant Challenge. Challenges! I am going to grab, apparently 2 blender pens. One isn't enough. The other one is like the little brother to this blender pen and just doesn't want to leave it alone. So I'm just going to run it clear just to make sure we're good to go. There's no ink on there. It is slightly stained. I don't know if you can see it very well, but it does have a pink hue. But you can see that when I color, no color comes out. So totally okay. Before I chop this up and clean it up, I'm going to bring in my Pool Party. Give it a squeeze in the middle, and when you open it, you'll have a nice pool of ink to work with. So I'm going to color in the waves on my card. I am going to zoom you out just a touch. There we go. Okay, so pick up some of that lovely ink. Depending on how dark or how light you want it, it's personal preference, but I like to start pretty dark, and I start at the top of the wave, and I just go until my pen runs out. And you can see it runs out pretty quick, so I'll just pick up a little bit more. Look at those fun dots. Now, I think that's where the glue kind of smushed on the front, and I am totally okay with that. I'm digging that bubble look. Now, a tip for using the blender pens, you don't want to color in the same place too much, or else it will kind of pill your paper. So just keep that in mind when you are running your color off onto that very vanilla. And I'm just, you know what, you do not have to be an artist to do this. You really don't. They're waves. Waves are ever-changing, never the same twice, like a snowflake, really. So I'm just coloring in all those little sections, and if you need more ink, just go ahead and give your pad another squeeze. Okay, we're almost done. I like that squeaky noise, the squeaky noise that it makes when I pick up the ink. Okay, and a little more, 2 more. And as you can see, I am not being careful with this at all. I am just going for it. Go big or go home, right? There we go. Okay, and then to clean it off, just run it on your page, and it runs clear. So that is it for the blender pen. Thank you so much, blender pen, for being so awesome today. Okay, now I want to do my stamping before I add the glue accents. I am going to use my snips to trim off the edges, so I'm going to turn it upside down. Let's bring it out just a touch again. There we go. And I'm just going to snip right along the edge, just like so. Okay, nice clean edge now. Do the same on the other side. Now, because we did use that blender pen to color this paper and we used the fine tip glue pen ink, it is a little tiny bit warped, but that is totally okay. When it dries and when we adhere it to our card, we will be good to go. So I'm just going to give that kind of a slight bend. It'll lay a little flatter if you want it to be flat while you're working on it. Okay, so we will do our sailboat. Again, bringing in fantastic Swirly Bird. I love it. Okay, now when you look at this set, do you see a sailboat? I mean, you may see it because you can see the shapes that I used on mine, but like when I first saw this in the catalog, before I saw anybody do a sailboat, I'm like, huh, well, what do I do? What do I do with it? But if you you can do so many things with these shapes. It is amazing. Like here are little eggs, but you could totally turn those into something else. So, sailboat pieces. We have our boat right here. We have our left sail, and we have the right sail. Now I'm using, oh, no, that's a kite. That is totally a kite. Here we go. Here is the other sail. So there's my little boat, super fun. There is also a striped piece, which we're going to use on the inside of our boat. And that, or you could stamp it in 2 colors, stamp right over there. I mean, seriously, guys, the possibilities are endless. So let's start with the base of our boat so we know where to build. Picking that up with my B acrylic block. Bringing in my gorgeous Calypso Coral. I do have to get the new pad in this color also. This is still the old felt top. So I want that super inky. And I'm going to stamp this in full strength. And I would just want that boat to be sailing right down my wave. Yeah. Love it. Do I need more coffee? Maybe. It's a possibility. Okay, I'm going to just set that off to the side because we will stamp the inside, but I am going to kind of switch up the colors, so I'm not going to stamp it at the same time. We're going to do it separate. So I'm going to do the sails each individually. So I'm going to stamp those off because I do want them a little lighter, and I like having just a small skosh of space between them. So I'm not going to make them touch or get them too close. So set my sail aside and now bring in my solid sail. I like the solid on the front. It just pleases my eye, my designer eye. I don't know why. I can't really explain it, but I think it might be because we have so much movement down here. I wanted the sailboat to remain a constant. If that makes any sense at all. If I'm rambling, guys, just let me know. And I may or may not do anything about it. Now, one thing I did forget is we do have this teeny tiny awesome flag. This is a bow tie. Here's the flag. It is so small. It fits right on the tip of my pinky. I mean, that's how small this is. So you really do want to try and keep these all together and put them away right as soon as you're done. So our little flag, full strength, right up top. I'm going to get him all cleaned off, and I'm going to set that right to the side here. Please don't go anywhere. Please. Please stay there. Okay, I'm going to close this up for now because I do want to stamp my sentiment, and then we will do our glue and our blingy bling so that it can dry while we do the inside. Bringing back in that Dapper Denim. I love the swirliness of this Kindly. I used to have a boss that always said thank you kindly, and this reminds me of him so much. So I'm bringing in Thanks Kindly, and I am going to use my D size acrylic block, and I'm just going to angle it. It fits. It fits. Ain't no worries about that. Okay, ink that up with my Dapper Denim. Lovely. Make sure it's the right direction. Be awful if we stamp this upside down, right? Okay, stamp it up in the left corner. Beautimous. Love it. Oh, I got a little ink on the side. That's okay. That's okay. It's okay. Work through it. All right. So I'm putting my Thanks Kindly back in the stamp set. I am going to close this just for a second while we get everything else going. Maria says, this is a cute set. Had not considered this set at first sight, but I think I just changed my mind. Hey, I've turned somebody once again to the wonderful side of Swirly Bird. Okay, now, Wink of Stella, number 1. Give it a shake. Donna says, I love this set and have made a few cards with it. Good! I am so glad to hear that. I love it when people make cards with the stamps that they have recently purchased. I think it is so much fun. There are so many things you can do with these sets. And another spoiler alert. Blah, 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 blah. Great things to come. Holiday catalog. Again, watch my pre-order unboxing. Hopefully that will be on Monday afternoon. My UPS guy likes to walk up to my house for some reason, which is kind of weird. I don't see his truck anywhere in sight. He walks up to my door and delivers the package. It's kind of weird. Anyway, here is the fine tip glue pen. What I'm going to do with this, let's bring you guys in again. Sorry for the shaking. Okay. So I am just going to run a little bit. I'm just giving very light pressure, and I'm just going to do a couple of lines inside those waves. I don't want a lot. I just want a little. And some of them connect, some of them don't. Some of them are swirlier than others. Some of them are straighter. It is okay. I just like the texture and the shine that I get when I use this. Okay, so I just did a couple inside each one. Now I'm going to go over the waves and do the same thing. I did dots on my original, but I think the lines of the waves are pretty cool. So I'm going to switch it up a little. Okay, just a few here and there. You don't want constant lines. I mean, I suppose you could. Nothing wrong with a constant line. I just like how it breaks up. And it really gives that wavy, textured look. Okay, so again, put that needle very carefully back in. It is a tight fit. Maybe I didn't get that right. Let's try it again. Ooh, give it a little squeeze. Blast some air through it. I apologize, it's hard to do this on camera because I can't look over directly into it. And I might have to do this off. Okay, yeah, I gotta bring it up to my face. My eyes are getting old. I can't see that far away. There we go. Got it in. Doing it up. And we're gonna bring you guys not in, back out. Apologies for that. All right, I'm gonna set this aside, give that some time to dry real quick. You could blast it with your heat gun very gently if you wanted to try to dry it in a hurry, but my recommendation is to let it dry on its own. So we have the whole front of our card done except for adhering it to the front. So it's aside drying. We're drying, not drawing. It can't draw. Drawing is fun though. So we're going to do the inside of our card now. We're just going to do the little sailboat guy. So I'm bringing in my second piece of Very Vanilla that is the same size as my first. I'm going to get my boat together. And on this, I did Calypso Coral for the boat, and I did Dapper Denim stamped off using the stamp off technique for the sails. So here we go, Calypso Coral again. And inking that up nice and juicy. And I'm going to stamp it over off to the right, but I'm going to stamp it kind of up slightly because I want to add some waves made using a Stampin' Swirly Bird. Yes, you heard me. There are so many different things that I can do with this one stamp set. Okay, that's all I need for the inside. I'm going to put that away. I'm going to bring in Dapper Denim, and I'm going to use the Fun Stripe sail, ink that up, stamp off once, and stamp down. Okay, clean that off because you know I will misplace these. It will happen. So I'm going to quickly put this away, put the bottom boat away. Okay, now we'll bring in the left sail, stamp that, and you know what? I'm going to do that in full strength, I think. Yeah. Let's do it in full. I think I reversed it on my original card, but you know, it's fun and whimsy, and you can do whatever you want to do. It is so versatile. Okay, clean that off, put that away. Now I do need my little flag. Oh, I forgot to put the little flag on that piece there. That's okay. Blue or coral? You know what? Coral would be really cute. Calypso Coral flag. Don't you love how you can just change it on the go? You can do whatever you want. It's part of designing. It's fun to copy people, and you can do it exact step by step, but it's also so much fun putting your own twist on it, in my opinion, anyway, for whatever that's worth. Okay, bringing in my D block, and in that Swirly Bird stamp set, there is a squiggly line, this line right here, So I'm going to put that onto my D-size block. And because these are photopolymer, you could bend it severely and give yourself like a tidal wave. Let's do that, actually. It's going to be backwards this way, so I want it to go, I want the bend to go on this side, I think. Let's see if it works. Okay. There we go. And now it's just going to give my sailboat a little bit of a push onto that card. Okay. And stamp it right there. Okay, now I'm just going to lay it back down naturally to the way it wants to be. And not too many, just a few. Kind of spread the love out a little bit. Super cute. Yay, just a few, you know, just a touch. Just a hint of the ocean on the inside of the card. I'm done with that string. I guess it could be a kite string. That may be what they intended it for, because you can make kites out of these pieces here. So that could be the string. But you know what? So many different uses. Seriously. Okay. We are ready to assemble. I'm going to adhere this to the inside of my card first, bringing in my trusty snail again, each corner and the middle. And we do have a lovely little border. So just line that up. I try to do 3 corners because once I get 3 corners and they look good, I know that my 4th will probably, if it cooperates, be okay. Marina says, I nearly never 100% duplicate. I always change it a bit. Makes it unique. Exactly, girlfriend, sister. It makes it unique. And that's why I think it is so awesome to case a project, copy and share everything, because you can put your own twist on it. You can make it different, make it yours. Even though, make sure you give credit to the original designer if you know who they are. But it just, I think it's so lovely. I really do. Okay, let's see. It's not quite dry yet, so I'm going to be super careful when I adhere to this to my card front. Remember to try and let this dry at least probably an hour or 2. Overnight is preferred. I'm just going to take 4 dimensionals, 5, because that's what I get. And I'm going to very carefully, without setting this down, stick those dimensionals on the back. Oops, not to each other. Trying not to get my fingers in the glue on the other side. And one up here. Okay, and then I'll take that backing off. And again, very gently place it on top of my card base. This is challenging. Maybe I'll do this for our next challenge. You have to put a piece of paper on your card using dimensionals, but you cannot let it touch the desk. That would be outrageous, right? Oh my goodness. Okay. And again, try and get 3 corners. Commit, and there we go. Boom. Okay, and very carefully press that down. I do want to give, again, that some time to dry because it is not quite dry. But look at how gorgeous that is. It just shimmers and shines. Bring you guys back in again. Oh, it's so lovely. I love it. And it's a great use for that By the Shore Designer Series paper on that blue side. It just, you can see the different color variations in the paper. And you could even go lighter or darker.